And we are back in the Dice Tray Jacuzzi. My name is Tom. You might know me as the Adventure Sage.
And I'm Mitch, the dual wielder.
And together we are the fabled Fable Brothers. Here to talk to you about anything and everything D&D, nerd, TTRPG, that sort of thing. We have no sponsor for the episode today, so let's just get right into it. Mitch, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It was fabled that today was foretold to be a good one.
It's in the prophecy. It's in the prophecy. It's a crispy Sunday morning. Well, at least it is here in Colorado. Are you getting rain over there in Illinois?
Yeah. We've been getting rain all day. Storming last night. It's kind of chilled out now, but yeah, nice. Perfect time. It stopped raining for us to get into the jacuzzi.
Exactly. Jacuzzi's open 24/7, baby. All right. Well, have we played any D&D this week? I know I have. Are you back to your drought?
I'm back to the drought.
He's back on the drought.
Sometimes, I'm just walking through the Sahara and I find that oasis. And then the oasis has a puddle and I drink in the puddle and then it's gone. And then I keep walking.
Fair enough. But that's going to change soon because you're coming here for a little bit. And we are running a lot of D&D when Mitch is here. Mitch is going to join my campaign that I currently have running. I play weekly on Thursdays. We're pretty new into the campaign. I think, we just finished session 7. It was a very combat travel heavy session. This is something I actually want to talk about. We've talked in great length about how to make your travel sessions hit a little harder, be a little more gritty, feel a little more dire instead of the party just, rolling a random encounter, bodying it, taking a long rest, waking up the next day fully restored, and doing the same thing 7 times in a row during their travel arc. But a system that I've just started implementing that I got inspiration from it from Grim Hollow's rule set, which is I'm running a very slight variation of that rule set for my campaign to make everything a little bit grittier. But essentially, it is, first, the party is very, very unlikely to get a long rest unless they are in a truly safe location. So like an inn or a township or a fort, things like that, where it's like you are protected from monsters, you are protected from the elements, you can get a long rest. If they want to do that in the wild, they have to take extreme extra parameters to make sure that the environment is safe. We haven't really run into that yet. They've just kind of accepted the fact that, nope, we're not going to get a long rest. But additionally, to add on to that, I don't like the random encounter of like, you just get an encounter every day. I don't like that. I like rolling to see if an encounter even happens because that adds to the intenseness or that adds to the stakes of the travel. And that will highly kind of determine how your party goes about their travel. So the system that I've implemented is once a day, one of them will roll a D20. On a 1, 2, or 3, or a 18, 19, or 20, they will roll that is the hit for an encounter. Anything between that is nothing. You don't get a random encounter this day. You go about your day of travel. Maybe I throw in a fun little situation or whatever, but you're not getting hit with a random encounter. Every day that they go without rolling a hit on that table, the threshold decreases. So on day 2, it's 4 and 17. Then on day 3, it's 5 and 16. And that window for missing the random encounter goes down every single day. Additionally, when they finally do hit that random encounter, then the table resets. Now, there are, of course, I'm always going to throw in encounters that are, relative to the narrative and stuff like that, that will just happen no matter what they do. But this is taking that out of context here. It will heavily dictate how they want to go about travel because the longer you're traveling, the more chance they have to roll a random encounter, and they're not getting a long rest. That's the thing, is they're not getting to go to sleep every night and fully heal. They get a short rest every night. That's the mechanic variation, but they don't get that long rest. All their resources can only replenish so much if they're just taking short rests every night. So we had this travel session. Sorry, I'm getting back on track. We're already going on tangents. But we had this travel session where it is essentially 2 days in some boreal highlands, then they need to spend 2 days going through a mountain pass, and then it's 2 more days of boreal highlands, and then they get to the city. But they chose to take a more dangerous route in place of going on the safe road with someone they didn't like, but also the dangerous route cut off 4 days of travel. So it's like, encounters might be a little more dangerous, but if you don't roll any of them, you're saving 4 days of travel, especially if there's a time limit involved. That's valuable. But yeah, during the session, I had one like chase sequence that I had planned, and I'll get into that in just a sec. But I had them roll twice for the encounter, both times. They didn't hit at all. They were getting cocky. They even chose to push through the night one time because I was like, they needed to make it to this river that they needed to cross. That was like the landmark that they were looking for. And I was like, you get the sense since the weather's been on your side and you've been traveling quickly, it's probably a few more hours to the river, but it's getting close. But the sun is setting. You can push through the few more hours, but with that, I'm going to have you roll another encounter chance. And I'm going to have you do it at disadvantage because it's at night now. And they're like, fuck it, we need to push through. I had them roll. They rolled a 10 and a 7. So they rolled 3 times during this session to get a random encounter. Every single time, nothing. It paid off.
As fate wills it.
Exactly. And then I built this whole chase sequence where they had to like cross the river, but they were getting chased by this onslaught of enemies that were tracking them through the forest. It was very reminiscent. The inspiration for this encounter I had was that scene in The Hobbit where they're getting chased by the wargs. They're all running through the fields. This way, you fools! And they go into Rivendell. But yeah, it was very cool, very intense. We have this variant mechanic system. When you go down, you roll on a Grievous Wounds table. The Grim Hollow Grievous Wounds table, all respect to it, that shit is so goddamn deadly. I didn't have the heart to put it in my campaign. I wrote up my own Grievous Wounds table just to lessen the effect a little bit. But
you, for 2 days, you smell bad.
No, it's more like
you have -1 to your charisma checks.
It's more like I have one like, you have a sprained wrist. You can't hold objects in one of your hands until you take a long rest. Or like you're concussed. You have disadvantage on intelligence checks until you take a long rest. So it's like that's that sort of thing where it buffs your character or it nerfs your character in specific circumstances, but like some of them are harder than others. Like there's one where you're bleeding and your hit point max is halved. That one's a little bit deadlier. But in this encounter, we had, because there were so many enemies, this wasn't a defeat the enemies encounter. It was get across the river because the enemies won't follow you if you do. But then this river posed this whole challenge too, where it was like, six squares long, and it's freezing cold water and all this stuff. There was a whole situation of like, how are we going to get across this river? Of course, it was raging rapids, so they were going to get pushed at initiative count 20 if they were in the water and all this stuff. But eventually they did do it. They got to the other side, but the enemies were still shooting at them. There was our cleric, Roy. He was on death's door, like 1 HP left, running. And our warlock, Nimbus, who's played by our best friend Noah, he's like, I got temp HP. I'm looking okay. Roy, get behind me. And he's like body blocking Roy. And then he's like, I can't go, like, I won't go down. It's going to be fine. And then I'm like, all right, they all shoot you, Nimbus. Since you're body blocking Roy, I rolled max damage on 2 hits and immediately he goes down. So he's like, don't worry, I got this. Boom! Immediately goes down. And this is the first time anyone's gone down in my campaign, which I'm not proud to admit considering we're on session 7. But I was like, all right, we're bringing out the Grievous Wounds table. Had him roll 2d6. And he rolled the bleeding condition. And they are just starting this travel arc. So like they got like 4 more days of travel, 2 sessions at least until they are feasibly granted a long rest. So I was like, you are bleeding. Your hit point max is halved. And he's like, whoa. That is insane. And I was like, yeah, that's how it works. And then I was like, well, you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'll let you
not going to do that again.
Well, I was like, I'll let you use your inspiration to re-roll on the table and choose between 2 different nerfs. He's like, okay, I'll definitely do that. So he rolls again, and of course, this time he gets the sprained wrist, and you can't hold objects in one of your hands. He's a warlock. He's a spellcaster. That doesn't matter at all. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely choosing that one.
You need both your hands to do somatic components, right?
Yeah, but like you can't like hold, it's more of a weight thing, not somatic, You can still move your fingers if your wrist is sprained. Yeah, the whole Doctor Strange thing. But like, that one is definitely tailored more to nerf like martial classes or like a barbarian with a great sword. Okay, you can't use your great sword anymore. But yeah, very intense session. I know I just went on a huge tangent, but this new travel mechanic, I'm really, really liking it because, again, it adds a little more risk and chance to it, and it also it allows the players to strategize more, and it also allows them to have direct consequences of their actions. They could take the safe route, but there's a lot more. There's 4 extra days in that route, and you also have a lot more chances of rolling random encounters. They might not be as deadly, but that shit stacks up. Or you could risk the short way. You'll roll a few deadly encounters, but you might just luck out. And so far, they are lucking out. The only encounter they've had is the one that I plan to happen no matter what. So it's cool. Very excited. They are going into the mountain pass now, and I can't speak too much about what I have planned because it is very likely that Mitch's character will be involved in this little arc of their journey. But I'm very excited.
I'll be flying in. I'm on a wing glider into the mountains. No, I'll be making a crash landing. I'll be making a crash on the scene.
Very excited.
I'll be superhero landing in with my cape.
And then, so yeah, that's Mitch is coming in what, a week from Tuesday. So 28th, right? Yeah, 28th. We could.
Yeah, it's that Tuesday.
That Tuesday. Coming in that Tuesday, leaving that Sunday. So we have D&D on Thursday night. Then we're throwing a Halloween party on Friday on Halloween. And then Saturday, we have a big one-shot planned. Level 20 one-shot. We're bringing back Jothar.
Hell yeah. Bring him back. He never dies. He's still alive. Tom did a whole time skip. Jothar's still alive.
It's Mitch's OC. Mitch's favorite OC. So I'm building a one-shot kind of centered around not his character, but the guild that his character's in. And he'll be kind of like the headmaster. Not the headmaster, but like the commander.
The commander.
Yeah, very excited. I don't want to go too much into it. I will
lead our team to our deaths.
I only decided on this like 2 days ago, so I'm still very much putting the pieces together and trying to understand how everything's going to play out. But it's going to be a mega one-shot. I plan to start early afternoon. We'll take that to dinner time, have a nice break, maybe grill out, get some steaks, whatever, and then have the second half in the night. So I'm pumped. I've already started printing minis. I'm looking at them right now, but you can't see them, Mitch. You can't see them.
I gotta send you my mini.
Yeah.
I gotta buy and send you that print out. I am doing that guy with the big gun. That's the guy I'm gonna do.
All right, we'll figure out how to make your gun. It's a steampunk world.
I'll just use the Exandria hand mortar. There we go.
Yeah.
Does fire damage.
The antimatter rifle.
No, the hand mortar. It does like 2d8 damage.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's a steampunk world, so it makes sense. It makes sense. All right, let's move on. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
that's what our
holy yap. This guy doesn't shut up.
This is what we got to talk about what we're doing in D&D. We got to talk about our D&D lives. I'm doing a lot of printing right now. A lot of printing. I just cleaned my entire 3D printing station. It looks pristine this morning. Yeah, but there is something I literally like minutes before we started this, I was eating some pancakes for breakfast and I was watching a YouTube video. There is apparently a new mechanic that is coming to D&D and it looks pretty fucking cool.
I think it's from third-party content, though.
I don't know if it is.
I'm pretty sure it is because I think I saw a video on it a while ago talking about it.
It's in Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun, the official D&D book. Yeah, it's
interesting.
There are some new spells coming. I'm not really concerned about those right now. What I want to talk about is circle magic, a new mechanic that essentially, it's based off of that fantasy trope of, apparently the cultists standing in a circle, all working to cast one spell. So apparently this is, I'm reading it right now. Circle magic is a method for amplifying a spell through coordinated teamwork. So there's a lot of different effects that you can have. It doesn't really go deeply into like the mechanics of it yet. I'm sure that will be definitely more explained in the book, but there are a lot of different options that essentially you can band together with your party and start amplifying spells. You can stretch the spell's range and augment that. You can distribute, let your allies share the burden of concentration, keeping these spell effects steady. That sounds pretty fucking powerful. Expand, widen the spell's influence, increasing its area of effect. Oh, you want
That's
to?
cool.
I want to fireball the entire room. I want to fireball this entire mine. Prolong, sustain the spell's effect for hours beyond its typical duration. Banishment comes to mind when I'm thinking about that.
Any summon spell would be what I would do for that.
Summon spell.
Because you would you get with all your wizards, around a circle, and then the fucking demon comes up, and now he's stuck there for 24 hours or whatever instead of just 2.
Yeah, that's cool. Safeguard, shape the weave to spare your allies. So, I'm going to summon a meteor swarm on this in this area. But hey Bimbus over there, I need you to augment the spell so none of us take damage while I'm throwing this shit down. So, that sounds pretty cool. Supplant, replace costly material components with the collective strength of your circle. That sounds highly weaponizable. Not sure how I feel about that one. Oh, well, if you just join me, then we don't have to have a material component for Revivify. We'll just spam the spell on everyone that died. I don't know about that one. I guess I'm not going to talk shit. I need to see the book first. And then other effects. Some spells like ones included below can produce additional effects when cast as a magic circle.
I wonder if you can negate the material components. I wonder if you could just do fabricate without any material and you can just make whatever the fuck you want anytime.
Yeah, this seems like one of those rules that has to be interpreted in good faith. And I'm sure that you would give a lot of power to the DM to say actually no, you can't use it like that. But this is cool. This is a really cool mechanic that I have never even thought about trying to get included into D&D. I think this is really awesome. This definitely takes me back to a couple years ago when they were toying around with wizards being able to create their own spells. I'm super salty they took that out of the new handbook.
I'm pissed that they didn't include that. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was the coolest feature coming out in the book, and then they're like, we don't know how to balance it, so we're just going to get rid of it. Now it's just okay.
I don't know. They said they were listening to the community. So if you're part of the community and you said you didn't like that, I hate you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited for that.
It steps on the sorcerer's toes. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
the sorcerer steps on the wizard's toes.
Yeah. Wizards are awesome. Wizards are my favorite class. So I was really excited and then really bummed. But this is a fucking cool mechanic. I really, really like this. And this makes me excited for this new book. Because not gonna lie, I don't give a fuck about this new book. Heroes of Faerû.
Yeah.
I don't need a Karlach stat block. Sorry. I don't really care about that. But if this mechanic is gonna be included in it and go into great detail, I'll definitely buy this book. This is super cool and super creative. And we've talked about this a lot. It increases collaboration. I love it when the party is doing weird shit to try and work together and find creative solutions to the problems that I'm throwing at them as a DM. So I'm very excited. I didn't want to spend too much time on this. There is a video that I was watching. Where is it? It's by a channel called Insight Check. They just posted it yesterday. So if you want to know more, definitely look at that video. Look up Insight Check on YouTube. Not sponsored. But yeah, really cool. Really cool. This is the type of shit we need. This is the type of interesting, innovative shit we need from D&D. So
yeah,
this gives me hope.
Cool new shit, cool new adventures and stories.
Yeah,
that's what we want. We need something to be excited about, especially in current times.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is super cool. I'm very excited for this. I'm happy to say that. I'm excited for something that D&D is releasing.
Yeah, I think I want to actually delve into that mechanic a little more. I feel I think DC 20 is a new system coming out, or it came out.
It came out a little bit ago.
It came out a little bit ago. Well, they have a mechanic where their spells are all basically the same, but the higher spell slot you cast it with, the different effects it has. If you cast I cast a fire spell, but then you can burn more slots or points or whatever to make it do more stuff. You can make it much more area so you have a lot more adaptability at the table. I feel like D&D could also do something like that with this mechanic where you make new spells where the more people that are helping you, the more the spell upgrades. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than just like, oh, I'm just going to increase the area by more. It's like, no, when you come and help me, this fireball spell now has more area, more damage, and maybe it burns them or something. And then if another person comes, it branches off into multiple explosions if you have 3 people helping cast. I don't know.
I'm sure there will be, I'm sure when this core rule set for this mechanic comes out, I'm sure there will be a million homebrew offshoots of like other things you can do with it too. There's also 2 new spells coming out that are kind of like below this mechanic. Doomtide. Unleash dread upon your enemies. When you cast a spell, you summon forth a rolling cloud of psychological torment that spreads from your position. The spell creates a 20-foot radius sphere of inky magical darkness that can deal 5d6 psychic damage to creatures caught within. But that's not all. Those who fail their saving throw also subtract 1d6 from their saving throws until the end of their next turn. That's fucking cool.
That's really good.
If those within the sphere can't escape its shadowy grasp, it can lead to a deadly series of failed saving throws as their mind is destroyed and their ability to resist the spells. Oh, this is a stacking effect.
Yeah, it's like an aura. It's an emanation.
Oh, jeez. And then there's a little blurb under it. Casting as a circle spell. When cast as a circle spell with at least 5 secondary casters, okay, you can expend a string of 3 black pearls from Pandemonium to extend the spell's range to 1 mile and sustain its power until dispelled, freeing it from the limits of concentration. On top of the rare component and additional secondary caster requirements, each secondary caster must also expand a level 3 or more spell slot. Otherwise, the spell fails. That's
fucking insane.
That's a weapon for the DM. That's a DM weapon.
That's a DM weapon, but if your players can somehow pull that shit off, you are fucked. Just like a mile, everything's just gonna die.
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, the cool thing is it's only like psychological. So you can have like, this gives me a lot of inspiration for like, there is a whole city that is trapped in here and like, but the city's fine. It's just everyone in there is dying, or like, there's like a city falls under this spell, and you have mages that are able to create like bubbles of like anti-magic. So like they're all like trapped in there. So, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah. I hope they do that. That is kind of even what I was talking about, is the more people do it, the different shit happens.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, that's good. I want to see more for other normal spells.
We got another one here. Spellfire Storm. Alight the weave upon your foes. Okay. This automatically makes me just think of a giant fireball. This spell creates a crucible of the weave, raining radiant fire that scorches flesh and hampers magic. Okay. Not only does this spell conjure a 20-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder pillar of spellfire that can deal 4d10 radiant damage to creatures within, but it also interferes with creatures who attempt to cast spells from inside the pillar's area of effect. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm sure they will go in.
It's anti-magic zone, kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be more mechanics for it when the book comes out, but then the casting as a circle spell section says, when cast as a circle spell, you can expend a blue star sapphire worth 25,000 gold pieces to extend the spell's range to 1 mile and anchor its power within the circle so it no longer requires concentration. On top of a costly component, each caster must expend a level 3 spell slot. So this one is basically kind of the same as Doomtide, except this one is just blowing everything up.
Yeah, in a single pillared area.
Yeah, but you can expand it to 1 mile.
Yeah. No. Your range. So you can cast it from a mile away.
Oh, the spell's range. I see.
Dude, if it was that within a mile, you're just blowing everything up within a mile. Like, that's insane.
Oh, I see.
It's just like arcane incineration a mile around you.
I see. The spell's range to 1 mile, not the spell's radius. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah, that would be fucking... You just explode a mile around you.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, dude. This automatically starts reading now as a siege weapon once you do that.
It's a siege weapon, or it's like a oh, there's a portal or a gateway right there. I'm just gonna put this in front of it so like nothing can go in.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really, really cool. Gather your circle, the circle magic mechanic in spells of Faerun, Fears of Faerun, whatever, are an entirely new way to look at spell casting. Not only does it add options for characters to bolster their spells in new and exciting ways, but it gives your villains ample opportunity to unleash world-shaking devastation. Dude, I wish I had this during the fucking campaign we ran for the Serpentry. The whole
even better. You got it for your current one.
Yeah. Even we got it when we were 30.
We got him when we're 30.
What happens when a doomsday cult collects dozens of casters to send to an expanded meteor swarm crashing down on Waterdeep? Yeah, dude, this is so cool. This is classic fantasy. Like, you know, you have the circle cult summoning a giant spell. In the Serpentry campaign that I ran with Mitch in Florida, the whole first villain, the whole first big bad, his plan was to essentially collect as many souls as he could and use them to power teleporting a city to another city and dropping it on that other city. So it's like, yeah, this would have been perfect for that. It would have negated me trying to figure out how the fucking semantics of that work. This is cool. I'm very excited for this. I'm pretty pumped.
It's
not gonna lie.
Yeah, I wish we knew more.
Well, we will. In Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Faerun. Let's see. When does this book come out? Why isn't the page working? Please, D&D. Okay, here. It's working now.
Don't worry, it comes out in a year and a half.
November 11th. All right, we're coming up.
Ooh.
Coming up. I can purchase the ultimate bundle. Fuck off.
Hey, you can get your free digital minis for the tabletop they're not working on anymore.
Yeah, the tabletop they scrapped. 8
they scrapped
subclasses.
after working on it for 6 months.
8 subclasses, 18 backgrounds. Thank fuck. We needed more backgrounds.
Oh, finally.
We definitely needed more backgrounds. 34 feats. Okay, cool. 19 spells. 19 new spells. Oh, if they bring back Tasha's Mind Whip, I'm gonna riot.
I think most of the stuff in this book is just gonna be the old stuff they're putting into the modern game.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. Truly. 12 new items. 3 new magic items, and 2 new monsters. 13 maps. I don't give a fuck about maps. 2 new monsters. I wonder what those monsters will be. Looks cool. I'm excited.
I don't know. It sounds good. It sounds like a lot of content. Again, you know, we keep harping on the same points every fucking podcast. It's not a big adventure, but it's still good shit that we will use. Thank you, D&D.
Here's the thing. If they are, even if it's not a big adventure, obviously we want a big adventure, but even if it's not, if they continue to do cool new stuff with the books, like implement these new spell casting circle casting rules, like, that's okay. I just want stuff that is engaging. I don't want to read the same thing that's been slightly altered from the previous edition to fit into this. I'm okay with you bringing back other stuff from the previous edition, but I want new stuff too. I want new.
Yeah,
cool,
we want
innovation. Stuff. And this circle spell stuff is exactly the type of shit that we're looking for. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. I will definitely buy this book because of that one thing. And of course, it's nice to get the new backgrounds and have the subclasses back.
Yeah, I'd say the backgrounds, dude. The backgrounds are the most important part.
Yeah,
but yeah, those circle spells sound sick.
Yeah, well, the background's gonna be nice because I am a religious D&D Beyond user. I have everyone make their characters in D&D Beyond. It's just, you can talk all the shit you want about D&D Beyond. It has its problems, but it is just so convenient. It is so much easier to keep track of everything in D&D Beyond. Everyone has access to all your books if they're in a campaign. It's just nice. It's just nice.
Yeah.
And
it's efficient.
Yeah, it's efficient. So I don't care how much shit anyone talks about D&D Beyond. I still really like it. It's obviously not without its problems, but I will definitely be buying this book. And I do like having the hard copies too for my bookshelf. So I'll probably buy the digital and physical. They have started doing a little bit of a discount when you do that, which I appreciate. That's that. Let's move on. Let's move on to the main topic of this podcast. How much time are we at right now? Oh yeah, we got time. So let's move on to the main topic that we want to really dive into. We're trying to reformulate the flow of the podcast to just really tackle one topic and also help us work on our skills of not going on 5 million tangents. We're trying to focus. We're trying to lock in.
We know you guys like tangents, but we're trying to reel it back just a little.
We're trying to be better for you. What are we talking about?
For you. For you!
I'm working hard for you. Mitch, what are we talking about today?
How to make your game fun for your players. That's what we're going to talk about. Not how to make a great game. They're kind of one and the same, but how to make your players have fun at the table.
Yes, and this is an extremely broad, vague, and subjective topic. So let's dive into it with some absolute facts. Whatever comes out of our mouths is objective fact, and if you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you, but we're right.
It's written in the Fable, It's written in the Fable.
It's written in the Fable. The prophecy says so. All right, Mitch, I'll let you start us off.
So, making your game fun for your players. First, a good session 0. You always need a good session 0. Determine what your players want out of the game. What are they looking to do? Do they want to do a more combat-heavy game? Do they like roleplay? Do they determine your players' wants and needs first and foremost? Second, what do you want from the game? Because if you're not having fun as a DM, they're not having fun as players, unless they are fucking you over and having a good time destroying you, and you're just getting mad behind the screen.
The aura that you are presenting to your players is infectious, and that goes both ways, in a good way and a bad way. If you can tell the DM isn't locked in, if you can tell the DM is not very enthusiastic about the session they're running, that will immediately trickle to your players, and vice versa. Like something that I'm not going to go on a tangent. It's a little side note. Something that I notice when I am running a session, especially if like we're in combat or something, and I see someone yawn, I get deflated. I'm like, oh, fuck. What do I need to do to bring this person back in? And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes they're just tired and they're locked in, but they're just very tired. We play on a Thursday night. The work week is piled up, but it's one of those things. It's infectious. Even whether you're a player looking at the DM or a DM looking at the players, the vibe you bring to the table is going to be, it's an aura. It's going to be felt. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going, Mitch.
You have L aura. But yeah, first, you want to pull your players into the game by doing the things that they have told you they want to do. If some player at the start of the game says, well, I really want my guy to like slay a dragon or like be a powerful hero, or I want to save people, then as a DM, you want to have fun too and do what you want to do, but you got to throw that shit in front of them. If your player wants to be a hero and that's how they have fun, put scenarios in front of them to be a hero. Yeah. Allow them to make those choices, because they're going to be, I got to save these people, and they're going to be having fun. They're going to play the game how they want to play, when really it's just you putting it in front of them, kind of telling them, hey, play the game this way.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it. Also, like just having a good vibe. Yes, anding with the players, not shutting them down. I'll talk from the DM's perspective, Tom, then you talk from the player's perspective. How about that?
Sure.
You want to yes and your players, not shutting them down. If they fail something, unless they dramatically fail it horribly and it's just something so absurd, you just say, yeah, that just doesn't work. But you want to, even on their failures, you want to yes and them and make it feel like they're still doing something. They're still accomplishing something. You want them to be engaged. If you just shut down players, like if can I try and do this? And you just say, no, that's not feasible. You can't do that. Like they're going to feel deflated. They're going to stop asking questions. If you are always shutting them down or not letting them kind of experience or try things out in your game, they are not going to have fun. They're here to try stuff out. They're just gonna be like, oh, well, the DM just wants me to play this certain way, so I'm just not going to try anything new. That's the fault. That's the downfall of new players, is they will, especially when other players are teaching the new players how to play, they'll say, okay, here's your character sheet. This is the stuff you can do. No, wrong. That's not what you do. As a DM, you say, okay, what do you want to do? Don't look at your character sheet. What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
That's how you make them have fun.
Yeah. What I try to do in my campaigns, especially since I'm playing a very, I don't want to say restricted, because my campaigns are not restricted, but I'm playing a very gritty, very, kind of low fantasy setting right now. So all this insane magical shit doesn't really exist in the world, which harbors a lot of more gritty creativity. So when my players are trying to do stuff, like in the session I was just talking about earlier, when they were trying to cross the river, the warlock, he was asking me a lot of questions of like, hey, if I misty step with this rope in my hand, what's gonna happen? If I misty step with this rope in my hand, what's gonna happen? And if I do this, will the rope come with me? And blah blah blah. Eventually, I was just like, okay, let's pause for a second. What are you trying to do? Before I give you all these answers, what is the goal of all of these questions you're asking me right now?
That's an important thing too, is let the player tell you the goal, because you lead to this thing, which I think I remember a specific quote from Monty from the Dungeon Dudes talking about this, where he's like, you have your player trying to set up this Rube Goldberg's machine to try and get the outcome they want, rather than just telling you and then you both working together collaboratively to make that happen.
That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah. Like 5 million steps, or if you just said, DM, I want to do this, and you could just be like, oh yeah, well, all you need to do is this then. It's like, just communicate. I mean, that's kind of like,
it's like you're saying, like, DM, I want to try and tie this rope while misty stepping to get it over to here to tie it so that I can allow my players to cross.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The other scenario would be, hey DM, when I misty step, or I'm going to tie this rope and I'm going to misty step, does that rope come with me? I don't know. I guess so. Okay. And if I try to do, and you ask like 30 questions in a row to just get to the outcome rather than just telling your DM in the first place.
You also see this scenario, and this is kind of a representation of bad faith play, but like you see this Rube Goldberg machine happen a lot when players are trying to slight the DM. When they're trying to do something in secret, when they're trying to stump the DM in a combat encounter.
You're trying to trick the DM so they follow you along this path of logic, and then you just fuck them over.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, if I do this, then this would happen, right, DM? And the DM goes, well, yeah, okay, and if this happens, then that happens, right? The DM's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And you're like, okay, cool. So when I do all of this, the map blows up. And you're like, what? How do we get here? Why didn't you just tell me what you wanted to do, and then we could have tried to, it's about compromise. So you do see that Rube Goldberg machine a lot when the players are trying to trick the DM, which is something you should not do. It's one thing to surprise your DM. Like, you don't need to tell your DM everything you're planning, obviously, especially in a combat scenario when you are essentially, it's all collaborative, but it is you versus the DM. The DM is controlling the enemies and you're controlling the player, and you're both trying to kill each other. So it's one thing to hide things from your DM and like strategize against them and not show all your cards. But then it's also another thing to use above the table conversation to try and trick your DM. That is, in my opinion, not very cool, and honestly hurts the storytelling of it a lot.
Yeah. So like the difference is like, if you have a spell scroll that you picked up 20 sessions ago and your DM probably forgot about it, and it's like a clutch spell, and you're leading things in a way to where you can then surprise the DM with this clutch spell and destroy his monster, that's different than trying to trick the DM by leading him down a path and then, oh, well, because of that, I can cast this spell that wasn't a secret. It puts your guy in a cage. He's now stuck in the lava pit. Because you said I could drop the bridge, it's gonna fall on his head.
You're being sneaky and you're trying to trick, rather than work collaboratively to tell a cool story. The DM wants cool shit to happen. At least I, as a DM, like when I get excited, like I was running a kind of like a not a siege, but like a town battle a few sessions ago, where marauders were invading the city, and two of my players worked together to bring down a building on a very powerful adversary that I had running at them. That like halved the health of the big creature, but it was cool. Like, of course I was like, oh man, his health is so much lower now. He's going to start this. Like, there's no way they're going to lose this guy now. But they did something cool in the process. I would always rather have them stump me by doing cool shit and collaborating and asking me good faith questions. Because the good faith question was, DM, this building looks like it's going to fall over. What realistically do you think I could bring it down on him? And I was like, well, obviously me as the DM, I don't want him to lose half his health by a building falling on him. But objectively, that's fucking awesome. Yes, let's work together to make that happen.
And that's how you make the game fun for your players. You allow them to do that stuff. You make it so they don't feel like they have to trick you. Because a bad DM who doesn't care about his players' fun would be like, you could knock the building down. It probably won't really hurt him. He'll probably just dodge out of the way. You're just taking away the agency of them to do cool shit. Was Tom a little disappointed that his monster was now half health? Yeah. But as the DM, you want to make it fun for your players. You want them to have those cool moments. You are not playing, they are playing. I mean, you're technically playing, but you're running the game.
Yeah. It's I honestly think, I can't remember exactly word for word what you just said, but I think that was a perfect way to say it. Was the way to have fun with your players is to put them in an environment and make them feel safe in a way where they don't feel like they have to trick you. That is such a good way of saying it, because I'm on the player's side. The DM should be on the player's side. The DM should want the players to win.
Oh,
if your
the
DM,
horror stories of the adversarial DM. Oh, he's like angry at the players and spiteful.
If you, and like, look, there are always times in combat, especially when I was playing my high level campaign before the current one I'm playing, there would be times where the fucking players would do some fuck shit, and I would just be like, oh! And I would even be like, I would be mad at the table. I'd be like, God damn it! And they're all laughing. They just think it's hilarious that I'm losing my mind.
You.
But they knew like I was losing my mind in some of these battles as they were stumping me, but they weren't doing it maliciously. They were just doing it because they could. They weren't sending me down this rabbit hole of questions. They were just like, oh yeah, you forgot I had this iron flask. Whoop, that's the boss. He's in my pocket now. Fuck you. And I'm just like, God, I forgot about that. But it's fun. It's a fun frustration. I am so happy to be frustrated by the players when they are being inventive and fun and doing cool shit rather than the players just trying to slight me. I do not like that when the players try to slight me. And luckily, I don't think I haven't had to deal with that in a very, very long time, where I felt like the player was trying to cheat me out of good faith play.
It's normally like a newer player that will do stuff like that, or it's
the veteran player that is
a veteran war gamer who's like trying to cheese every single thing he can do. Like, it's just like, dude, just play the fucking game.
Go play Warhammer, dude. Get out of my collaborative storytelling game. Yeah. But that's a really good way to put things, Mitch. And something I also want to we briefly brushed by this, but when you are rolling skill checks and you are setting DCs and stuff like that, I want to look at Brennan Lee Mulligan for a minute, because I think something that he does, I haven't really seen any of the other big DMs do this, but when a player is asking to gain information or trying to make a skill check, Brennan Lee Mulligan will lay out the series of what is possible before they make the check, just to communicate better of like, okay, you're looking into this book. All right, give me an Arcana check. 15 is going to get you this. 20 is going to get you this. A 25 is going to get you everything. And like, it just kind of allows the player to understand what is at stake here. And also, even if the player rolls a natural 1, they still get something from Brennan. And it's not cheap. He's not just giving away stuff, but he's giving the minimal information. Regardless of what your player rolls, you're still trying to do something, you know? So it makes sense that you should always be rewarded just a sliver. Even if you roll a natural 1, they're still getting rewarded a sliver of information because they tried to do something creative. So I really like that, especially when they ask to do something like, especially with like history or Arcana. I'm trying to investigate this book. I'm trying to investigate the history of what's the words here. Okay, well, you can roll Arcana and it'll get you something along these lines, or you can roll history and it'll give you something a little different. And just giving the players that agency to like choose and understand what is at stake with what they're trying to do. I think that is a brilliant way of running things. I'm going to try and adopt that style, because it's much more engaging when you know what's at stake.
Yeah.
And 2, it's a lot more informative. And
Also, it gives your players chances to use their abilities more to try and hit those goals. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, okay, if you're doing this, the player might be like, "Oh, I'm going to use my guidance, or I'm going to use my inspiration, or because I really want to know this, I need that 20. You know,
Yeah.
I have a +3, I need that 20." I think it's also to touch on what you're saying about giving the bare minimum information. Like, for example, I was just thinking of this in my head with your history book kind of analogy. Say you're rolling the checks and you do roll very, very poorly. Like, some information you could give is like, it's in a text you don't know. That book must not be from around here. Like, that's still
Yeah.
solid information, you know, even though you have no idea. If you're reading a book, you would know that. Like, if it seems foreign, it seems like not from here. You don't understand the language, you can't really understand the history inside it. But that's still information in itself, even though it's a failure of knowing.
You can learn stuff by understanding what you don't know. Does that make sense? I don't think so.
No, that doesn't.
You
Understanding what you don't know. I actually know. Yeah,
understanding.
you can learn from the understanding of no knowledge.
Yes, exactly. It sounds contradictory, but it makes it makes sense. Cool. All right. I think we'll leave it there because we need to get into our next segment. But I think, you know what? I think we put that pretty well into words. I think that is now objective
It
truth.
was a tight little bow.
Yeah. I think now everything we just said has officially become objective truth. If you don't agree with anything that we did just say, then you're wrong. And I'm sorry that you're wrong. But also,
Yeah. We don't make the rules.
I don't make the rules.
We don't make the rules. It
We
was
don't-
foretold.
It was foretold. It's in the prophecy. And we just got to keep moving on. Other opinions aren't valid anymore. Sorry.
It's our fable. You're just living in it, buddy.
Yeah. Yep. Guess what? It's time for fucking monster mode.
Monster mode.
It's time for monster mode. I think we did one of these segments in the first episode. Maybe the second episode. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think it was episode 2. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with monster mode, this is a little segment that we do where we on the spot are going to try and come up with an encounter, with a layer, an adventure based around an enemy from the new monster manual. Sorry, not an enemy, a monster from the new monster manual. We've done this a lot, especially in our previous podcast, but we still got plenty of monsters to get through. The way that we handle this is Mitch and I generally switch off every segment we do here. I have chosen a monster. Mitch has no idea what I've chosen. I'm going to read him the description of the monster, maybe give him a few little hints for the stat block, but it is his job to guess it. And then once he guesses it, then he'll start formulating the encounter around it on the spot. And then eventually I'll probably jump in and we'll work collaboratively. But this is a collaborative. This is a collaborative creative exercise that we implement here. So without further ado, let's just get into it.
Let's go.
Let me pull my. All right. Let's do this. This is a pretty long description. So, Mitch, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to blank out any mention of the name in the description, obviously. So let's get started. Blanks divide all things into 2 categories: things that are on fire and things that should be on fire. With bodies of flame and magmatic rock, these halfling-sized creatures delight in setting fires. I
know what it is.
They do
I
so.
can't think of the name.
They do so not out of malice, but out of enthusiasm for primal fire. They don't consider that. Let me finish the description. So even for the audience, they don't consider that objects have value beyond kindling, or that creatures can be harmed by flames. If such concepts are explained to them, they find the ideas difficult to grasp and don't remember them for long. Rather, they relish every opportunity to set flammable things alight, delight in igniting paper, wooden structures, and explosives. Blanks are dangerous, even in death, since they explode when they're destroyed, their flames igniting combustible materials nearby. Blanks might be conjured by magic users to harry foes, or might escape the elemental plane of fire through portals or rifts that lead to other realms. They're attached to places of intense heat such as volcanoes and rivers of magma. If they can't find such favored conditions, blanks eagerly burn structures or start wildfires to entertain themselves.
Yeah, it's like Magpie. It's like Magpie. It's like the little smiling fire guy. Like,
yeah, you know exactly.
I can't remember the name. It's like
you're very close.
It's a Magbit or Magbert, Magby.
It's a Magmin.
Magman. Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. I did not know about this before this monster manual. I was not aware of these creatures.
Really?
Straight up.
Their old art kind of sucks, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, the new art's really cool. Obviously, it'll show. I'll throw a picture in post for the podcast. But yeah, these creatures are cool. They're little mischievous fuckers, and I like that. That's why I chose them for you, because I feel like you're good at making these like little stinker encounters.
Little stinkers.
Little stinkers.
Little stinkers. Yeah, he's burning a library. So the Magman I see more of as a area threat rather than a threat to the physical players. I feel like these are going to be summoned into some sort of library or some sort of place of knowledge, or like a druid's grove or some sort of forest.
Yeah.
Just by the bad guy, the BBEG, summoned to just destroy the place or to just cause chaos and distraction while they do something else.
They are very weak creatures. Sorry, I want to go over their stat block a little bit just for people listening. They're only a 1.5 CR creature. They have 3 abilities/traits. They have their Death Burst, which is when they die, they explode, like it said in the description. Their only action is to touch things, and it just deals fire damage. And then they have bonus actions, Ignited Illumination. The Magman sets itself ablaze or extinguishes its flames. While ablaze, the Magman sheds bright light in a radius and dim light in a radius. So I'm getting ideas, but I want to see what you have first, Mitch.
This is what I think. I think either in Afridi or Azers are sieging some sort of city or a vault or something. They need to either steal information or they are just fighting. I see the Azer Pyromancer summoning Magman to the field to cause chaos and destroy their foes, burn down buildings, delete knowledge, something of that nature. And maybe while this is going on, the Azers are assaulting one of the core key places, so they don't have to be distracted with sieging the city. These guys can start fires all on their own and sow chaos. I see the encounters with the Magman being much larger scale because there's more threat than just the players dying. These things are there to blow up and cause damage to everything around them. So this would be more of like a skill encounter or a corral the monsters so they don't destroy the city encounter. How do we stop all these guys from pouring in? How do we stop all these explosions? How do we save the people that this is affecting? Because that's kind of what I see these monsters as. They're not even like a monster. They're they're explosives. That's like the enemy's just throwing grenades in the city to blow up. So that's where I see them, is the larger, more general monsters or like a commander of the force. These are just fodder in the army to just serve as a distraction or to destroy while we go do the actual task. So the players have to quell the threat of all of this like material danger and then go take care of the actual monsters in the encounter. Yep. Another fun thing for this would be you have all these guys in a pit trap, and when the players fall in, they're just all down there jumping on them. And then when the players start fighting back, they all blow up because they all just blow each other up.
Yeah, here's the thing. Oh, they are immune to fire damage. That is a thing. So it wouldn't set off this chain reaction, but these do work well in a swarm.
Damn it.
If you can have like all of these little Magmans just swarming someone, then it's one of those things of like, if they are swarming around a character, everyone else can pick them off, but they're just going to die and they're just going to explode. And it's like this double-headed sword or this double-sided sword where you can kill them, but they're going to explode. So if they're swarming someone, they better be a totem barbarian or something like that isn't going to take all this damage, because holy shit. I really like something that intrigued me is their bonus action, their Ignited Illumination. When they start setting off light, especially if you're playing online or something, you can have these guys running around giving that light, but there are no other sources of light in the room, and there's a boss that isn't emitting light. So like the more of the little mobs that you pick off, the darker the room gets and the harder it becomes to see the boss monster.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the mechanic that I thought of. It's like, oh, I would definitely have a very light mechanic heavy encounter, especially if you have humans or anyone without dark vision. The more of these little guys that you kill, the darker the room gets and the less you can see shit. So it's kind of like this, this trade-off. You're killing the mobs, but the boss is getting more powerful because they can slink in the shadows or whatever. But yeah, I really like these guys. I didn't know about them before. I think the artwork is awesome. Yeah, really cool little enemy. Do we got anything else to say on the Magman?
The Magman. Let's see, their stats are pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
Dark vision, immunities to fire. Yeah, I mean, these guys they're basically like a trap. Like they're not even necessarily really a monster. They're just a moving trap. So yeah. I see that, especially if they swarm somebody, that person's going to have a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. I just looked up minis. There's no new minis for it. There's there's old minis from Monster Menagerie 3, which came out years ago. So the minis are pretty shitty. But, oh wait, apparently there's unpainted minis. Let's probably look a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm sure you could just find
those
elemental
those
guys.
Look way better. Oh, the unpainted minis are actually pretty cool. But yes.
But yeah.
So
as for these guys, they're definitely they're not the point of the encounter, but they're the mechanic of the encounter for sure. Whatever encounter you're doing, they're lighting things on fire. You got to douse them as players, or they're lighting the room, like Tom said, and you gotta you want to kill them, but you don't want to because then you can't see.
Little stinkers.
Yeah,
they're just little stinkers. Little stinkers. Going stinker mode.
And I just see like the town is about to be sieged by a bunch of Azers, and the Azer Geomancer just summons a portal above the town, and just dozens of these guys start falling out of the portal onto the buildings, flopping around. Yeah. And they just start causing chaos. A
swarm. These things work very well in swarms, and they're not really like intimidating. They're kind of these silly little fire elemental guys. But I promise, if a swarm of these starts falling out of the portal, your party's gonna shit their pants.
Well, yeah, because it's like a force fire, but the fire's starting in all these other places. Like, how do you fix that?
Yeah. Cool.
Tidal wave.
Yeah, a tidal wave would be very, very helpful in this scenario.
That's when the player character, tidal wave, it just washes the whole city away. Yeah. All the buildings just get destroyed. Shit.
The city isn't burning down, but it is getting hit by a Category 7 tsunami. So
yeah, tsunami.
Cool. Well, we're actually conveniently right at time, so we can kind of wrap it up there. That has been Monster Mode, and subsequently, this has been episode 4 of the Dice Tray Jacuzzi. To everyone hopping in and hanging out with us, thank you very much. We have more segments that we have planned. One of them is called the Wisdom Check. So that's essentially a segment where if you ask any questions, if you comment any questions, things like that, give us topics you want us to talk about. We will answer your questions. We will talk about your topics, of course, D&D and nerd stuff related.
And we'll give you the objectively right answer.
Yep, we'll give you objective facts.
Keep that in mind. Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Again, you can follow us if you haven't already. We're a small podcast. We're trying to be a big podcast. So following, liking, commenting, sharing, all of that stuff, it helps. If you liked this episode, comment something below. If you hated this episode, tell us why you hated it in the comments below. It's let your opinion be heard, and maybe we'll talk about it next episode.
And then I'll argue with you in the comments.
Yeah, and then we'll argue. And we'll argue with you in the comments.
You suck, not me.
We'll start wars we'll start our own comment wars. We don't got to let the fans do that.
Yes.
But yeah. So thank you for tuning in. That's all we got for today. We will see you next week. I think that's all we got.
And the Fable Brothers are out. Let's go. Woo!